Okay, the goal is to write equations for each of these parabolas, and it tells us to notice that the axis of symmetry for all of them is the y-axis. Okay, this one here goes through the point 1, 2, this one goes through 2, 2, this one goes through 1, negative 3. For ease of communication, I called this one A, I called this one B, and I called this one C. So here's how we're going to do this. First of all, I know that since basically each of these parabolas has a particular width, okay, or a multiplier, like this one looks wider than this one. This one's flipped upside down, so the multiplier is going to be negative. And also it has a plus or minus number because this number is like risen above the x-axis, this one's down below it, and this one's right on it. So we're going to know what the plus or minus number is as well. So let's look at A. I don't know what the multiplier is, but I do know that the plus number is plus 1. So let's look at the equation for A. Here's what I have. We know that it's y is equal to some multiplier times x squared plus 1. I know the plus 1 because the whole graph is rose up 1 off the x-axis, so there's the plus 1. I don't know what the width multiplier is, though. Okay, so I know the equation is of this form. Here's the other piece of info. I know that the point 1, 2 is on it. So I take this equation and I put in 1 for x and 2 for y. And then I solve for what the multiplier is going to be. So I square the 1, that's 1 times a is a. I get 2 equals a plus 1. I subtract 1 from both sides and I get the a value must be 1. So all along that a value was 1. And so it must have been y equals 1 x squared plus 1. There's my equation. Okay, for part B, I know the vertical number, the number that's being added, is 0. There's nothing there, but I still don't know what the multiplier is. It looks a little shallow, but I don't know what it is. So I know it's y is equal to ax squared plus 0. I don't really need to write that, but so I need to know what the multiplier is. I know it goes through the point 2, 2, so I put in 2 for x and 2 for y. 2 for x, 2 for y. I square the 2, I get 4, so I get 2 is equal to a times 4. I divide both sides by 4, and I get that a value must be 1/2 when I reduce that. So the equation, which I knew was y equals ax squared, since I know a is now 1/2, it's y is equal to 1/2 x squared. And down here, I know that the vertical or the add number at the end is minus 2 because the whole graph is shifted down 2. And then I'm going to find the multiplier the same way. So that's over here. I know it's y is equal to ax squared minus 2 because I know it's shifted down 2. I just don't know the multiplier. Also, we know it goes through the point 1, negative 3, so I'm going to put this in for x and this in for y. So I put 1 in for x, negative 3 in for y. I square the 1, that becomes a. I add 2 to both sides, and I get that the a value must have been negative 1. That makes sense because it's upside down. And so the whole equation is y is equal to negative x squared minus 2.